A warm welcome to you anywhere around the world and here in Nigeria. This is Nationwide. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. We'll begin the news from South America, where following President Bola Tinubu's engagement in Brazil, subnational governments from Nigeria have been wooing Brazilian investors for possible investment in their respective states. State House correspondent Musbau Danwahab reports from Rio de Janeiro that Ogun State government took the lead with an investment forum with potential investors in Brazil.
President Bola Tinubu and his Brazilian counterpart, Luiz Lula da Silva, on the sidelines of the 2025 BRICS Summit, continue to demonstrate shared interest for greater partnership. As more robust collaborations manifest between the two national governments, Ogun State government is taking an immediate step to leverage the platform of confidence being established by the Nigerian president.
The commitment demonstrated by both presidents was very palpable.
Governor Dapo Abiodun is on an investment drive in Rio. For a state that prides itself as the industrial capital of Nigeria, the state governor highlighted the investment opportunities in the gateway state, including mining, agriculture, livestock, hospitality, oil and gas, among others. He is also seeking partnership in power plant development, renewable energy, technical and vocational training for youths of the states.
We have a region in our state that's the deepest sea point in Nigeria called the Olokola region, where there's a planned Olokola natural gas project in the offing, OKLNG. This place has been identified as the right place to have a fertilizer plant. So we welcome partners from Brazil to set up with us a fertilizer plant in Ogun State to export back to Brazil.
There's a lot that already exists in terms of backbones for industry, which is why Ogun is also very industrialized. It's one of the most industrialized states in Nigeria.
Managers of the Nigerian economy also explained various reforms to remove the macroeconomic distortions and attract domestic and foreign investments.
We are on the right track in terms of growth, in terms of inflation, in terms of the external position.
In Nigeria today, you have stability in our financial system. We have a tight, very tight monetary system that ensures that inflation is gradually beginning to trend down. The significance is that the foundation for growth is being established.
They assured the potential investors of a friendly business climate and protection for investments in Nigeria. In Rio de Janeiro, Musbau Danwahab, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigeria has made a strong appeal for global cooperation in addressing challenges of climate change and health inequity as the world heads towards COP30. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga made the appeal in a message from President Bola Tinubu at the 17th meeting of the Global South and Emerging Economies Bloc, BRICS, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He urged the bloc to lead for a transformative agenda that will give more attention to environmental degradation, climate change and healthcare inequalities threatening the Global South, highlighting Nigeria's climate reality, deadly floods in Mokwa, spreading desertification in the north, and rising sea levels in the Niger Delta. All these, he said, as the continent contributes the least to global emissions. Tuga therefore urged BRICS to move beyond what he describes as sterile and toothless diplomacy and seize this historic opportunity to drive global action that truly delivers for vulnerable nations. Moving on to legislative matters, Senate has resolved to carry out a comprehensive investigation into the activities of fraudulent investment schemes, commonly known as Ponzi schemes, in Nigeria to protect citizens. In a motion jointly sponsored by Senator Abiru Adetokunbo and Senator Osita Izunaso, lawmakers expressed concern over increasing sophistication of operators of such fraudulent schemes and the devastating consequences of their actions on unsuspecting members of the public. Reference was made to the recent crypto bullion exchange CBEX, MMM Nigeria in 2016, MBA Forex in 2020, among many others, who lured Nigerians with promise of outrageous returns, but suddenly collapsed, resulting in investors losing trillions of naira. Lawmakers said now is the time for administrative reforms with regards to regulations and monitoring to protect Nigerians. At the non-implementation of the 5% user charge for road maintenance as provided in the FEMA Act of 2007. As a result, the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on the Act has commenced investigation. Ignatius Nkwo reports.
From transporting food to linking communities, good roads make the nation work. But in Nigeria, the story is often about roads built and forgotten. The 5% user charge for road maintenance in Nigeria is a levy on pump price of petrol and diesel for the maintenance of roads across the country. It was enacted in 2007. 18 years after the enactment, it has remained dormant, and the House of Representatives is now investigating its non-implementation.
This committee is looking forward to the actualization of government's desire to ensure that Nigerian roads are usable, Nigerian roads are motorable. All over the country, we suffer this problem of bad roads. And it's not something that you will solve just by budgeting.
The managing director of FEMA and other key stakeholders described the move by the House of Representatives as a lifeline for Nigerian roads.
I regard today as a major milestone in our journey towards providing good roads in Nigeria.
Employ all of us to put our best to ensure that this committee comes up flying with reasonable decisions that will see Nigeria moving forward.
The ad hoc committee has constituted 2 subcommittees for a comprehensive framework. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Nigeria's status on the continent is on display as investors are taking advantage of the nation's policies on ease of doing businesses. One of such investors is in Magama local government area of Niger State, building a Hydropolis and a free zone where a world-class modern city would accelerate industrial development in Niger State and Nigeria at large. A federal government delegation, including the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, visited the site. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Niger State in north-central Nigeria accounts for the country's largest landmass, with abundant resources in food and power, potentials that are attracting investors and innovation from across the world. In the bank of Kanji Dam in Magama local government, this 3,000 hectares of land is playing host to the ongoing multi-trillion naira Hydropolis free zone project, with about 30 billion naira infrastructural project completed.
If 10 billion is not going to be available for you, I wonder who else it will be available for.
This is an example that at the time that some people are thinking that investors are leaving this country, investors are actually coming to Nigeria.
As a flagship project of mainstream energy, the project is deeply rooted and driven on public-private initiatives to promote various activities like manufacturing, real estate, tourism, and agriculture. Aquaculture Resources Limited is already leading the way with the full operations of this mega fish farm using a section of the Kanji Lake. that is already providing thousands of tons of fresh fish to Nigerian markets.
This is an indication that on the land and in the water, Nigeria's agricultural revolution is on course.
The only way we can achieve, Mr. President's, objective and goal in terms of industrialization, in terms of accelerating it, is with the efforts, of the private investors and the private people.
Since the coming of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, first he established the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, which has an 800-kilometer coastline and then inbound waterways that also support this kind of venture.
From Magama local government in Niger State, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Nigeria has clinched the 2025 World Summit on the Information Society WSIS Prize in the Access to Information and Knowledge category through the Nigerian Communications Commission's NCC Digital Awareness Program DAP, which was the top voted project in its category among hundreds of global entries. In a statement, the acting head, Public Affairs NCC, Nnenna Ukoha, notes that the award was presented in Geneva, Switzerland, to NCC's Executive Vice Chairman, Dr. Aminu Maida. The NCC's Digital Awareness Program, DAP, which began in 2006, equips secondary schools across Nigeria with ICT tools and internet connectivity to boost teaching, learning, and research. Over 300 schools nationwide have benefited so far. The EVC, Dr. Maida, views the International Telecommunications Union and WSIS acknowledgement of the digital inclusion efforts as an affirmation to Nigeria's commitments to using ICT as a tool for national development. In addition to DAP, 4 other Nigerian digital projects were nominated in various WSIS prize categories. Though they didn't win, their recognition is said to reflect Nigeria's growing footprints in ICT-driven development. Our first stop on Nationwide is our Lagos Network Center, and Hingino has the next set of reports. Lagos.
And welcome to Lagos. The prediction of heavy rains by NIMET is already manifesting in Lagos, with residents of flood-prone areas living in fear. The rainfall from Tuesday afternoon to early hours of Wednesday left some neighborhoods flooded. With Lagos State having a zero-flood preparedness plan, what is the situation now? Joel Upola tells us more.
For some days now, Lagos State has been experiencing a series of rainfall. For residents of Agungi, a neighborhood in Lekki, Lagos, prone to flooding, the challenge is now an annual ritual and a thorn in their flesh. The non-stop rainfall for 12 hours has left yet another unfortunate story, with some counting their losses.
This water enter my house, you carry my bed, carry everything.
Since ever I entered this Agungi 2020, that's how we have been facing this water issue since. See my leg, if to send us something I fish show my leg. This water don't show my leg finish. Like yesterday, even us where we even get room for here, we not feel even lie down.
The situation is adversely affecting commercial activities, with many unable to open their shops. Also affected are students like Maria Daniela, who are unable to go to school.
It's too much, and I was sick for the past 3 days. I could not go to school.
With the flash flood receding, other areas vulnerable to flooding, such as Oniru and major streets in Victoria Island, are now breathing a sigh of relief, unlike Agungi. The Lagos State government has attributed the enormity of the flash floods in some parts of the state to a phenomenon known as lock-up, which occurs when high tide temporarily prevents rainwater from discharging into the Atlantic Ocean and the lagoon. The resultant effect is build-up of stormy water and flash floods, particularly in low-lying areas. The Lagos State Commissioner of Environment, Engineer Tokunbo Wahab, has urged residents not to wrongly dispose their waste into drainage channels and avoid other environmental unfriendly acts that could obstruct flood waters from discharging speedily when the tides recede. In Lagos, Joel Okbola, NTA News.
Talking electoral matters now, as candidates for the chairmanship and councillorship positions across the 18 political parties intensify preparations for the July 12 local government elections in Lagos, many electorate who are the major stakeholders are not informed on how to cast their ballot and the date of the election. Joel Okbola again reports that even in the heart of Lagos, the level of awareness is still low.
The third tier of government, which is the local government, is the closest to the people in terms of accessibility. But many at the grassroots are disconnected from their local governments. Ahead of the elections in 20 local governments and 37 local council development areas in Lagos, most prospective voters are oblivious of the significance of the election and barely know the chairmanship candidates.
I don't have any idea.
I don't have an idea of what's happening in Lagos. Anything concerning the politics, I don't know them.
When was the last local government election held at the vote?
I voted, I think it's 2018.
Most respondents say they hardly see the candidates canvassing for votes, but many of their campaign posters are visible within the metropolis. A few Lagosians say they are fully prepared to cast their ballot on Saturday.
July 12 is the local government election. We should come out and participate and vote for our choice. Well, I don't know my current local government, but I know those that are contesting in my area. So my own is to come and vote for the appropriate person that will do us well. Not party, not tribalism, but vote for the right candidates.
Stakeholders believe inclusive governance at the grassroots and public enlightenment is crucial to ensure more involvement of Nigerians. In Lagos, Joel Okbola, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. Time now for some messages. Nationwide will be back in Enugu after the break.
The government of Nigeria warns vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information
Stream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
And welcome to Enugu Network Center. In the era of social media noise, misinformation and shrinking attention spans, authors have been advised to write books that heal, craft stories that teach, and to pen articles that provoke positive thought with integrity and purpose. This clarion call formed the resolution at the convention of the Association of Nigerian Authors in Enugu with the theme, The Pen as a Moral Compass, Navigating the Author's Influence on Society. Chimaroke Ugu completes the story.
The power of the pen has long been recognized as a potent force in shaping societal values, norms, and beliefs. Authors, through their writings, have the ability to influence the moral fabrics of their audience, inspiring, educating, and sometimes even provoking them. The gathering of authors in Enugu with the theme, The Pen as a Moral Compass, Navigating the Author's Influence on Society, presents the pen in this sense as a moral compass, guiding readers through the complexities of human experience and encouraging them to reflect on their own values and principles.
There's so much going on around us in the world today. You find issues of plagiarism, you find issues of people manipulating sects, and then people tend to amplify these things and cause fear and chaos in the environment. So we want to begin to buttress the reason for caution when sending out information.
We try to direct society properly. We try to channel human morality so that people will start doing the right thing in society.
Speakers maintain that authors authors have a unique platform to share their perspective, experiences, and insights with the world, and through their writings, they can challenge societal norms, promote empathy and understanding, and inspire positive change.
The pen has wielded a power that transcends mere ink and parchment. It has built civilization.
Authors have unique platform to shape societal values and norms, and with this power comes great responsibility. By using this platform wisely and promoting positive values and principles, authors can make a lasting impact on society. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
Residents of Enugu have given nod to the current tax reform bills signed by President Bola Tinubu, describing it as an unprecedented and a way out of over-dependence on oil revenue. They, however, hinted on the need for proper management of the taxpayers' money. Grace Chukuma reports.
Taxation, no doubt, is a critical tool for economic development, which provides government with revenue to fund infrastructure, social programs, and public services in Nigeria. Tax reforms have been a central focus, aiming to streamline the country's tax system by reducing the number of taxes to a manageable single-digit figure. The recent passage of some tax reforms bills by the National Assembly and its assent by President Bola Tinubu signals new regime in tax administration, which hopes to enhance revenue generation, simplify compliance procedures, and address regional disparities. This noble initiative have been widely described as a welcome development by residents of Enugu, who are optimistic that it will create conducive environment for businesses and boost the country's economy.
When people comply with this, it also makes more money into the coffers of the government. So whichever way you look at it critically, it is win-win for Nigerians.
Some of the residents, however, harped on the need for accountability and proper use of the taxpayers' money.
I will commend the president for taking a bold step, for having that what we call a political will. More investors will come because now our tax reform bill is not flexible. Not that we pay tax in Enugu. On getting to Lagos, some people will hold you in Lagos to pay the same tax. You go to Makurdi, the same thing. Discouraging investors.
It is expected that the recent tax reforms bills passed into law will encourage production, thereby increasing the country's gross domestic product. In Enugu, Grace Chukuma, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Enugu Network Center. Let's now take you back to Abuja for continuity.
Thanks so much, Comforts. About 28,000 children suffering from malnutrition have received life-saving treatments out of the alarming numbers of malnourished children in Bauchi State between January and April 2025. This accomplishment underscores the collaborative commitment by all key players. In this report, Abdullahi Aminu examines the situation.
Malnutrition occurs due to lack of essential vitamins and minerals such as iron, vitamin A, iodine, and zinc, which remained a source of concern affecting children in Bauchi State.
Malnutrition peak started from April, and we are hoping that it will end with July.
They can have the foods they can eat, but how to use these foods and how to put them together properly to have the nutrients that are very important for them, they don't really know.
This local and international medical experts forum is part of the proactive measures to ensuring proper healthcare services to rural areas and interventions to malnourished children before it is too late.
Access to nutrition education continues to impact rural women in terms of having adequate information that will be able to help them.
The Medical Experts Forum provided a strategic working plan to combating the 34.5% increase cases in the state. Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Now, let's reconnect with Abdullahi Aminu, who is on ground there to give us more about these key initiatives and interventions against malnutrition in Bauchi State.
Which stands at 61.7%, that has led to the establishment of a draft known as SBC, meaning Social Behavior Change, by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. This draft is one of the criteria that the group of doctors and public health workers are using towards addressing the rate of malnutrition in Bauchi State.
Clearly, one of the successes we can mention here is the cure rate amongst those that have been admitted at the hospital. We know definitely that our cure rate is above 90% in terms of admission compared to the numbers. We also can talk about the success of our collaboration with the Ministry of Health. Over the period, the ministry and MSF has been working very closely. For example, the structure that MSF is using is provided by the Ministry of Health. MSF is responsible also for mentoring most of the Nigerian national staff that are working along with us in the hospital. As a result of that, the ministry now can take some of the staff and position them in some of the ministry's health facilities, and these facilities now benefit from the mentorship provided by MSF to the MOH staff.
This is the situation in Bauchi, and various groups of medical doctors and health workers are working towards addressing the situation with the support of UNICEF and collaboration with the state and the federal government.
Thanks so much, Abdullahi in Bauchi. Let's talk some internal security. The Nigeria Forest Security Service, NFSS, says presidential assent to the bill establishing the service will go a long way to enhance the security architecture through collaborative efforts and synergy, especially in areas of intelligence gathering and sharing. The Commander General, NFSS, Joshua Oshatimehin, stated this against the background of Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia's comments that local vigilantes and forest guards set up by the state government lack the capacity to confront bandits and other violent criminals terrorizing local communities based on the nature of arms they bear. The Deputy Commander General Intelligence, John Meche, says the proposed law for the establishment of NFSS allows its operatives to bear arms, saying the service would have what it takes to comb forests, flush out criminals, and protect local communities in Benue and other parts of the country from attacks. It sympathizes with government and people of Benue State over the recent killings. New commandant of Nigeria's foremost military training institution, the National Defense College, wants members of the institution to scale up their capacity in producing security professionals that will be pivotal in curbing the evolving security challenges. During a ceremony where he assumed the role as commandant of the National Defense College, Rear Admiral James Okosun gave a hint that under his watch as the commandant, the institution will focus on improving the quality of participants who graduate from the college.
I enjoin all of us, most especially the college community, that we must keep the college mission in focus, and we must make all efforts to develop the quality and the right leadership that will help in our national security task that is confronting the country. So I enjoin all of us to be dedicated, put all our effort, and I believe with good teamwork we shall achieve our mission and vision.
Elsewhere, the role of effective leadership, resilience, and artificial intelligence in a changing global order is the focus of the training for military personnel in Abuja. The program, organized by the Nigerian Army Resource Center in collaboration with King's College, London, is aimed at enhancing the capacity of senior military officers in combating emerging threats.
We want to challenge the senior army officers to start thinking outside the box. There are challenges out there. You see, when we talk about collaboration, you must bring something to the table. You must bring knowledge, you must bring experience. So we want to sharpen the knowledge, we want to improve their experiences before they go out there and collaborate with others.
Well, AI belongs to what is referred to as emerging and disruptive technologies. Gradually it's becoming integrated into every process that we do, from our behaviors to our daily living. And as practitioners in the field, it's very important that senior military officers get acquainted with the rudiments of AI so that they can also enhance their processes in the field.
We have a new way of looking at things in terms of policy, in terms of concept, operations, and ultimately in terms of how we work together in the future.
Training is geared towards using artificial intelligence and upscaling the fight against terrorism and other crimes in the country. The Kano Jigawa Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has intercepted more than 650 million naira in undeclared foreign currency from a suspect arriving from Saudi Arabia through the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that 2 other suspects were also arrested in connection with the seizure.
The interception comes on the heels of a recent joint sensitization campaign by the Nigeria Customs Service and the EFCC, reminding travelers of the legal obligation to declare all foreign currencies at entry and exit points.
The currency declaration regime is part of a holistic anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism measures provided in our laws to protect the sanctity and integrity of the Nigerian financial system.
We urge the public, particularly the stakeholders within the aviation sector, bureau change, and financial institutions to remain vigilant and report any suspicious movement of large volume of cash. Protecting the integrity of our economy is a collective responsibility.
The 3 suspects, along with the seized foreign currencies, have been handed over to the EFCC for further investigation. Officials say they will be charged to court upon the conclusion of the process.
I didn't know they contained money until I was intercepted by the Nigerian Customs, which is why I didn't declare them.
The operation underscores the growing collaboration among security agencies to strengthen border surveillance and clamp down on illicit financial flows across the country.
And still in Kano, where the state government there has reaffirmed its commitment to tackling the menace of thuggery in some parts of the state, which has caused loss of lives and property. In taking measures to curb the menace, it has established the Ministry of Internal Security and Special Service, as well as engaging communities to ensure involvement of all in the fight against insecurity in the state. Correspondent Abdullahi Mustafa reports that these would go a long way in addressing the resurgence of thuggery in Kano.
Thuggery remains one of the major challenges facing Kano and its environs. In response, the state government is intensifying efforts to curb the menace across the state. Recently, the community of Tudun Fulani in Ungogo local government area witnessed a violent clash involving suspected thugs, resulting in the tragic death of 3 individuals. In the aftermath of the incident, the Commissioner of Internal Security and Special Services, Ibrahim Umaru, paid a condolence visit to the community. He appealed to residents to support the government's ongoing efforts to combat thuggery and restore peace.
We woke up to a disturbing incident of the death of 3 youths, and one of them suffered death as a result of some miscreants, not engaged in thuggery as such, but engaged in sheer armed robbery.
Residents of Tudun Fulani express appreciation to the Commissioner for his visit and pledged their support to the government in addressing the issue. Meanwhile, the suspects involved in the incident are now in police custody and investigations are currently underway.
Now being joined by Abdullahi Mustafa in Kano. This is quite disturbing with the spate, but tell us more about the state government's efforts in addressing this menace. Seem to be having some challenges establishing the audio clarity with Kano there, but if we can, surely we would before the end of the
the State Executive Council meeting, and he made mention of this issue of security and announced the formation of a larger community to be headed by the Commissioner of Internal Security and Special Services, who is a retired Air Force officer and Air Vice Marshal for that matter. And there is also another move or initiative to bring in community members, especially those in the troubled areas, such as the Tidun Fulani, Jajira, Gobrawa, and Ndinshe in Dala, Fage, and Ungogo, which are high-density areas. Many people, or included the government, are attributing that to high population and influx of more people into Kano and the springing up of more communities and unplanned development in those areas are also blamed for these security problems. So there is a recent move also through the traditional institution to establish new districts like in Gobra, which is very close to these Tidum Fulani and Jajira, as well as Durei, another flashpoint, which was appointed a retired Assistant Inspector General of Police as district head, who is the Bardek area of Kano. So in all, the community, the traditional institution, the ulama, and of course security agencies, especially the police, being brought on board by the government in this effort to end this growing menace of especially phone snatching and fighting among rival gangs in those communities.
Abdullahi, we expect that these efforts will really yield the desired results to really change the narrative of thuggery and, of course, make the youth who are engaged in it face more productive ventures. Thank you so much for your time, for the contribution.
Thank you.
All right, from Kano, let's cross over to the seat of the Caliphate, and Sadia will be the next anchor.
The Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has called on the Nigerian Immigration Service to step up efforts towards effectively manning the nation's porous borders in order to address the growing security challenges across the country. Rata Abdullahi reports that the Sultan made the call while receiving at his palace the participants of the 11th Staff Course at the Immigration Command and Staff College, Sokoto.
The Nigerian Immigration Service performs critical roles of immigration management, border control, and documentation, among others. It is for these reasons that the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, emphasized the need for the adoption of modern surveillance equipment and technology to effectively monitor and secure Nigeria's vast borders. Sultan Sa'ad maintains that the outdated methods can no longer meet the demands of today's security realities. The Sultan stresses that borders remain a serious concern in the fight against insecurity, urging the Nigerian Immigration Service to rise to the occasion by deploying modern tools and intelligence to detect and prevent illegal movements that pose threats to national peace and development.
We're trying our best, yes, but we have to do more. Because no matter how good you think you are doing, the criminal is looking for a way to bypass you. So you always have to be a step ahead of the criminals.
Acting Commandant of the Nigerian Immigration Command and Staff College, Sokoto, Controller Muhammad Muazu, who led the participants to the palace, acknowledges the role of the Sultan in ensuring peace and nation building.
The Sultan is the father.
not only to the Muslim but to the whole country. And it's a tradition of the institution. Whenever we have course, we come and greet him and it's a very blessing. And if you have been there, you see the paper is presented to us. It's in fact, if you are going to analyze what he said to us, just 30 minutes, you can make a booklet.
It is expected that insights from the visit will further enhance the capacity of the service in managing Nigeria's border security. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Still on security matters, to further strengthen civil-military relations, the Nigerian Army has conducted a medical outreach to improve healthcare delivery in Ballet community of Gudu local government area of Sokoto State. The humanitarian gesture was part of the 2025 Army Day celebration. The medical outreach programs are part of non-kinetic approach aimed at building trust and mutual cooperation between the Nigerian Army and the local communities. The General Officer Commanding 8th Division Nigerian Army, Sokoto, Major General Ibikule Ajose, represented, stated that the initiative is part of a series of activities organized to mark this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration, conceived to assist Ballet communities in meeting their immediate health needs by providing free consultations, treatment, and drugs for women, children, and elderly people, soliciting cooperation of the communities to troops and other security agencies towards achieving lasting peace. Similarly, a public speaking engagement was organized at Idris Koko Technical College and Olusegun Obasanjo Technical College to educate and guide students on values and opportunities in the Nigerian Army and related fields. Papers were presented by Army resource persons on ways to avoid criminality and how to gain admission into the Nigerian Army schools, among others. The General Officer Commanding 8th Division Nigerian Army Major General Ibekule Ajose represented describes the engagement as a platform to inform and educate the participants about specific topics, issues, or opportunities to inspire and motivate individuals into becoming good citizens.
The Nigerian Army has played crucial roles in the defense of our country, Nigeria, and also the maintenance of peace and security across the nation.
It features an interactive session with students with presentation of souvenirs and writing materials to the benefiting schools. And those are the news updates from here. Nationwide continues in our Port Harcourt Center right after this break.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The arrival of the rains brings with it a relief from the heat wave of the dry season. Despite the fact that the weather is, however, refreshing as a result of the consistent rainfalls, the negative side is the health risk associated with it. Chidebere Oya in this report takes a look at some of the common health problems inherent in this rainy season and ways to stay safe and healthy.
The rainy season is here again. The season, which typically spans from May to October in Nigeria, is a period marked by persistent downpour, waterlogged, and reduced sanitation in many areas. But alongside these weather changes comes an alarming rise in health-related issues, especially for the vulnerable population, such as children, the elderly, and individuals with pre-existing health conditions. Among the most common health concerns are malaria, cholera, diarrhea, pneumonia, and other respiratory tract infections.
Conditions like asthmatic episodes, which in case of causing obstruction within the air passage or airway, will come in. These are very common because of the existence of the weather.
This cold is associated with a lot of cough, catarrh, fever, and shivering. When such happen, they should take the person to the hospital.
However, these diseases are said to be preventable if certain precautionary measures are taken.
We should not allow them to be playing outside too much during this rainy season because of the weather. Some people that they have a very low tolerance to the weather system.
We have a lot of safety equipment that you can use. You have rain boots, you have raincoats.
Very early in the morning, take 1 cup of warm water, bath on water, wear covered clothes. Avoid air condition and avoid cold things.
As the rain intensifies, Public health experts advise that people should maintain good personal hygiene, wear protective clothing, eliminate mosquito breeding sites, and seek early medical attention to keep diseases at bay. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onyia, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ayodeji for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thanks so much, Dibabari. In a significant move to strengthen diaspora engagement and development through collaboration, Zumunta Association USA Incorporated has announced its 2025 annual convention to be hosted in Lafia, Nasarawa State. Deborah Balagbobo reports that this is the second time in its 35-year history that the convention will be held in Nigeria with a series of empowerment programs.
Zumunta Association USA Incorporated is a non-partisan, non-religious organization. The association's scholarship scheme has empowered more than 5,000 science students in northern Nigeria with 100 million naira disbursed to date.
Zumunta is one of the largest Nigerian diaspora group in existence worldwide. NIDCOM, therefore, is delighted to be called upon by members of Zumunta to partner with them to deliver on the 2025 convention here in Nigeria.
Now, this year's conference with the theme From Connection to Action, mobilizing local experience and diaspora insights for national development.
Ab initio, when we were created, the focus was on northern Nigeria, but our dynamics have since changed. Our association, while promoting the positive image of Nigeria globally, we are looking to continue to make impactful actions for our members.
The 2025 Zumunta Convention will feature a robust lineup of high-impact programs on key sectors. Deborah Balagbobo, NTA News.
From Ekiti comes a report that a one-week specialized mechatronics training on the repair and maintenance of both CNG and PMS-powered tricycles and motorcycles has commenced. The program, organized by the National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, is an intervention aimed at developing capacities of youth, auto mechanics and technicians in Ekiti State. Olukemi Sani reports.
It was a gesture born out of the need to enhance the potentials of technicians and provide an opportunity for advancing their career prospects on skills upgrade training, repair and maintenance of both CNG and PMS-powered tricycles and motorcycles in Ekiti State to ease the impact of fuel subsidy removal and cost of transportation in the country. The 50 trainees, drawn from different local government areas of Ekiti State, are expected to lead the program as better individuals with skills which will help them to understand the opportunities that abound in the automotive industry.
The best way to expand your business is to, first of all, have the technical know-how, improve your expertise, and that's why we've decided to train not only auto mechanic, but also the tricycle technician.
We have more plans for training in future. We have more plans, and we have some other plans also coming up in a joint collaboration with NADDC. So we will be together for a very long time. We have a long plan.
Ekiti State government believes that skill development is essential for youth, while emphasizing the necessity to continue partnering with the National Automotive Design and Development Council and relevant stakeholders to drive the auto industry to its well-deserved place. The 50 technicians selected for the training will be empowered with starter kits in Ado Ekiti. Olukemi Sani, NTA News.
And next is sports updates with Peter Oibo.